Some of you may have wondered what the cook in my channel name stands for, and today we will get there. So first off, no, I'm not a chef, not a professional trained cook. However, I'm a very passionate home cook. My dad was a chef. I grew up in our family, hotels, restaurants, and I started cooking when I was, I don't know, I guess younger than 10. So as a child already I was cooking meals for me, later for my entire family. First, let me talk a bit about like what cooking, how cooking and riding relate. So in my mind, I really dislike if people talk about like fueling in the context of food and eating, because to me, I believe it's all nourishment. And this needs good food. Yes, I guess all of us by now, if we are on the bike, we have gels, we have carbs in our bottles, and we fuel with this during the ride. But if we are not eating sugar, we should eat well and cook well. And what I want to do, at least from time to time here on this channel, is show you stuff that you can cook, that is very good for you, that is easily done, and that I think is very well integratable into the diet of a cyclist. So today we're going to cook congee together. Maybe some of you know congee, others maybe don't. Congee is essentially a rice-based porridge, and it's very popular in basically all of Asia. In most Asian cuisines, there is some form of congee. It's a dish where you cook your rice very long until it gets very soft, and that can then either be topped with meat. Today we're going to do it with chicken, but there are many different variations of congee, and I think it should really be a staple in a cyclist diet, because anyways, rice is a regular ingredient, I guess, into most carb-heavy diets that we as cyclists or endurance athletes do usually consume. But I guess the congee is not so known in the Western world, but really is a great addition because it's a nice variation on other typical rice dishes. So let's get cooking. So just a little shout out. This recipe I've learned from this book, Chicken and Rice, from Shu-Han Lee. It exists also as an English version, even though I have the German one. Really cool cookbook, and in here you see a congee recipe, which in a lightly adapted form we are going to do today. As I said, there are many different varieties of congee that you can do. So for this dish, let's start preparing. We start by peeling the ginger. We need a fair amount of ginger. If you don't know the trick, use a teaspoon for peeling your ginger. It's the most effective way to get it done. So what we do for this way, we turn this into 3 pieces, and 2 of the pieces we will really smash with our knife, because this we will cook with the congee. It's just smashed ginger. Chop, and the 3rd one will be cut into thin stripes that we need. These thin stripes here are going to be a garnish on top of our congee in the end. So yeah, we want them to be really fine. Now we have our ginger stripes, we have our smashed ginger. That's it on the ginger front. Now we get to these spring onions here. The spring onions I already washed. Let's remove the little tips here in the front. By the way, if you want, you can grow new spring onions out of these. And now we remove the white stuff. The white stuff we use essentially completely in the congee cooking. And then we cut the green parts here as a garnish into thin little rings. And then from the green parts you can use as much as you want. Essentially, I prefer the lighter green parts and then a bit of the darker green parts. The greener they get, the sharper and a bit grassier they taste. But also they bring a bit more crunch to the table, so that is nice from like a textural perspective. Okay, so that is what I want to use as garnish. All the stuff for the topping I will put into a little bowl that is conveniently integrated in my board here. So what we're going to do now is start the rice cooking and the congee together with the chicken legs. So for this we need half a cup of rice. That's a recipe for either 2 normal people or 1 hungry cyclist. So we take half a cup of the rice. For this here I'm using jasmine rice, which is a good choice for this. And then we put in these spring onion parts, we put in the ginger parts, we put in the chicken legs. Oh, you may wonder, by the way, if I shouldn't wash the rice. There are different opinions on the subject matter of rice washing. I came to the conclusion that you don't need to do it, and some people are in this camp as well. So especially because I usually buy organic or only buy organic rice, I just don't wash my rice, and it works very well. We eat a shit ton of rice in all different kinds. I don't wash it. If you want to wash it, go ahead and do. Here is a chicken stock that I cooked yesterday. You can also do it, of course, with store-bought chicken stock or even with water. It's no problem. The ratio here is 5:1, so that means that it's a 10:1 ratio. Sorry, so I use 5 cups on this half cup. And here we go. We put in a bit of salt for the cooking, a bit more for good measure. And now we bring it to a boil over high heat. If you cook soups or stocks yourself, then you will know that some scum can come up here. This will happen here as well, especially because it's a homemade and not like a super cleared version of a stock. It's like the quick, convenient, lazy man's home-cooked chicken stock that I did. So we can take out a bit once it is boiling. So now you can see that our stock is full on, our rice is full on boiling. Our congee in the making. We reduce the heat to medium-low, and now we take off some of this garbage here. So for this we need a spoon, and then we use this plate here, and we take out the scum that is forming on top here. If you wonder what that is, especially if you cook any kind of stock with a meat ingredient, then a lot of the protein in the meat will denaturate and come in the stock together with some other dirt particles from the vegetables and so on, and that is the scum that you are seeing. So that is clean enough for my purposes now. So what we're going to do here is cook for now until the meat here is cooked. So this is the kind of simmer that I want, not too heavy. Probably I reduce the heat a bit more. I keep an eye on it, but that is essentially how you want it for the next half an hour. So what we are going to do next is we are going to fry some shallots, and in the process create some shallot oil as well, which we can use. So to that end, we first have to prepare these shallots here. So we need to peel them. So, and now once you have peeled your shallots, you just cut it into thin rings. Once you have them cut into rings, do this here so you get like the individual layers. You can be more or less precise in this. Oh, my eyes are tearing up. These have some oomph. Now that you have these prepared, next thing is to prepare your oil and get it hot so you can fry them inside there. You can do this either in a wok or in a saucepan. I have this little saucepan here that should be really optimal. Then you need a neutral oil that you can heat up hotly. I have this frying oil here. It's based on sunflower oil. You could also use something like peanut oil or whatever. And then you need just You need a lot, like a few centimeters high up there, needs to be really covered in that. But again, you're not using this oil once to throw it away, but in the process you're creating a flavored shallot oil, and this shallot oil will be delicious. So yeah, I'll put all the rest of my bottle in here. You need to get it really hot because otherwise it is not going to work. So in the meantime, while the oil is getting hot, I'm just turning around these legs so that both sides can cook equally. And we're waiting for the oil to get hot. To see if it has reached a good temperature, there is a little trick. You can take a little wooden stick. I have these chopsticks over here. You can use this. You can also use like another wooden stick, whatever works. And then you put it in here. And you see nothing happens, so it's not yet hot enough. Once little bubbles come up there, we are good to go. Okay, I think now we are approaching the good state. Look. Yeah, I put it in and you see these little bubbles that are coming up there? That is the sign that we are good. Okay, so now I will reduce the heat to like medium hot and put in the shallots. A spatula like this is one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. If you don't have one, get yourself one, because this really helps to transport a lot of chopped stuff quickly. And be careful to not burn yourself with the hot fat. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, this is the water in the shallots that causes this reaction. So yeah, be a bit careful. Can't be too hot and not too red. Okay, chip, chip, chip. Okay, here we go. That is good. And now you don't want to burn them, obviously. So this is a process that is a bit tricky because you need to get the timing right. Now it takes between, I say, 5 to 10 minutes until they are browned, or half of them are browned, and then you can finish the cooking off the heat to get everything crispy. But just recently I did it and I was probably 30 seconds to 1 minute too long in the fat, and they were already starting to taste burnt. They were not completely ruined, but definitely not perfect. So yeah, the margin of error is slim, so that is something where you need to be a bit focused, especially towards the end. So while I opened myself good non-alcoholic beer, we see that there is really progress happening. You see, they are browning. It's not yet quite half, but we are getting to the point where we'll take it off the heat and let them finish cooking and frying off the heat. So yeah, it's really mission critical, as I mentioned, to get the timing right. Otherwise you have to burn stuff. So as I have an induction stove, I can just reduce the heat. You can of course also just put it on another field on your stove top. And now it's gonna finish and it's not gonna burn. Okay, so here we see we're getting to a good place. And now I will prepare my plate where I let them dry with some paper towels, kitchen paper, I mean, sorry. Okay, here we have some kitchen paper. Here we have a big plate. Now we put it on a chip to get it out. I will use this great tool. If you don't have this, just make sure that you don't put away the oil, because the oil is not only a byproduct of this process, but it really is a key tool for many good dishes, including this congee, but also others. If you have like a shallot flavored oil, it's powerful in salad dressings and as a flavoring agent that you can put on top of many other dishes. Here we go. I put it on this paper, of course, to soak up some of the oil. This, if you're like super fat conscious, you may not want to add these shallots, but then I guess most of you as endurance athletes, as bike riders, you can afford to have a bit of fat in your diet as well, because you will burn it anyways when you're riding a shit ton. But yeah, maybe some nutritionists wouldn't recommend it, but really it's just a little crispy garnish, so don't worry about it, would be my take. You will see they are not yet super crispy, but while they cool down, they will also crisp up, and then you will have like the perfect crispy little thing that you can put on your congee, or basically on anything where you fancy a little bit of crunch and flavor on top. These are versatile weapons. So now I just produced what I need, but sometimes I also do like a fair amount, because they can be stored in an airtight container in the fridge for 2 weeks definitely, and they will probably be not as good on the 14th day as on the first day, but still you have them then easily at hand. But as you saw, it's also something that you can do fairly quickly, à la minute. Now with the rest that I want to keep as an oil, I will actually, because as I mentioned recently, I did a batch, I still have some oil here. It's from the burnt stuff, so it's not wasted, but it's maybe a bit too intense, so mixing it, I guess, will just balance out the flavors there. And so I will need this little thing here and give my oil through it. Oh yeah, now it's not big enough. Shit. Okay, so I need a bigger glass. Okay, so here we're good. Bigger glass, that should fit. Oh no, it's still too small. Impossible. Okay, then we use 2 glasses. Let's taste one. Perfect. Delicious. Okay, you see the timer is ringing. Bam, we're good. The chicken legs can come out. Okay, here we have leg number 1. Here we have leg number 2, or thigh. Chip, chip, chip. Okay. And what I want to do now is remove the meat from the bone, put the bone back in there, keep the meat for later. Now the question is how to best do it, because of course the meat is pretty hot. I think a great invention of mankind is the tool called a fork, because with this it should be fairly straightforward. Fork and a knife. I just want to remove the skin as well, because the skin of course is not like crispy and brown if you cook it the way we did, but I wanted to keep it inside because like there is fat and flavor below and in the skin that is now in the congee, and that is what I want. Don't give away flavor if it can be had for free. Okay, upon closer inspection, I think the meat is not yet cooked to the degree I want it cooked, so I will put it back in for a few minutes. And then let's investigate this second one here. It's a bit thinner. Oh, maybe it can stay in there 5 minutes as well. So here we go, 5 more minutes. So I guess we should be good here with the meat cooking now. So attempt number 2 at taking it out. Okay, let's investigate again. Yeah, this looks good now. This looks good. Okay, let's get the meat off the bone. This ain't the way how you would want to do it in a restaurant, but if you're at home and you're doing it for yourself and for your family, that's how I would do it. And now this goes back in here. Hot, hot, hot. But it's already finger-licking delicious. This much I can tell you. If you came here for chicken leg cutting techniques, then you came to the wrong place. I just do it in a very rustic way, so to speak. These bones give flavor to our congee. Okay, like this, we keep the congee on like low heat for another hour-ish until it has like the consistency where after the rice really cooked down. So I'll set a timer for 45 minutes because I can almost leave it like this without controlling, just checking in every once in a while that there is no rice sticking to the bottom of the pan. This we will put in order on a plate. Here I use one of my kids' plates for this. This will of course later become a topping for the congee. And now we have a 1 hour time, for instance, to watch something about bikes or edit some videos. Okay, we are good to go. The congee has cooked down to the level that we want it at. So you see it is now thick, and from a consistency it's really cooked down. So that is what we want and how we want it. Now to finish, first we take off the heat. Now we take out all the stuff we don't want to eat. So that is the ginger, the big ginger knobs. I will just get something to put it in. Let's take this. Okay, so here, ginger knobs. The bones also come out. Here we go, bones. Okay, then we want to cook down spring onion pieces. Here we go, spring onion piece. Choop. Nothing in there will kill you, that much is for sure. Here's the ginger piece. That's good, because these could be a bit intense if we eat them. There's a piece of ginger. Chip. Let's see if we come across another piece. Finalement, it's not that much. It's two nice portions. And maybe one if you're hungry. So what I will put in here now is an egg. So if you're super scared of eggs that are not fully cooked through, this is not for you. But if you have good fresh eggs and if you're brave enough, you put in an egg. So on this amount, if I would serve it for 2 people, I would put in 2 eggs now. I will keep a bit for tomorrow, and so I will put in only 1 egg for now. And this egg I put in comme ça. It's off the heat, as you see, the pot, and now I want to get the egg set in the remaining heat. Meanwhile, let's get ready for serving. So I like to serve it in a bowl. Okay, we are waiting for the egg to set. Maybe I've reduced the heat too early, too low, so it takes a moment longer. The yolk ideally should still be a bit runny. I'm happy with it. So what we do next is put our congee in here. So chip. Of course, would be nicer to have a whole egg on top, but I messed it up a bit. Okay, here we have the congee. Now we put our chicken meat on top. I will take roughly half and the other half for tomorrow. It's by now cold, but it will warm up again in the congee. Could also put it in the congee if you wanted to. Now here's the green garnish. Oh, but I should first put the oil, honestly. So here I will just take a teaspoon of the shallot oil that we created today, put it on top. This has a lot of flavor, a bit more, and will contribute considerably to the deliciousness. And then we have our ginger and spring onion garnish, part 1. And then I take out some of my fried shallots. The other half I keep for tomorrow. And here we go. This is a pretty delicious dinner. I will put this in the fridge right away. So in my container here, because this of course should still be good tomorrow as a lunch. So this way I have a dinner and a lunch. This one has a lot of carbs, a lot of protein, not that much of vegetables and so on, but still, if you combine it with other good healthy fruit and vegetables during the day, that makes a very good meal, and I think it's very cycling friendly. Enjoy!